welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. Everything you want to know about Guild Wars 2 in and around Tyria. Sponsored by Gamebreaker Nation. I'm your host, John, better known as Deo around Yaxben, and we have a fantastic show for you today. As one beta ends, another one must begin. Shedding some light on devs and putting some others to the fire. And it's all wrapped up in a nice little box of gem store stuff. But let me introduce you to my fellow hosts for today. First up, it might not look like Jim. Say hello to Lee. He is, if you don't know him, maybe give a little introduction for yourself. Yeah.
Hi, I'm one of the guys from Gamebreaker Nation. I'm the GM for our ESO section. I usually like to troll Dale, and so he asked me to come and troll him on here apparently today. So my job is to completely troll him. So, hi Dale. Hi Dale.
I have no reason. I don't know why. I think I was delirious when he popped in when I was setting things up, and I was like, you should just be on. So I apologize to everyone, especially the Elder Scrolls fans that are now having to sit through a Guild Wars 2 podcast. And next up, a writer for Gamebreaker, breaking away from Witcher 3. Say hello to, there we go, Robin.
Hello. Yay.
How have you been enjoying The Witcher so far?
I like it so far. It's fun.
And last but not least, a writer for Guild Mag, and breaking my heart for selling those mail carriers. Say hello to Aaron.
I put the money back in the guild bank. What do you want from me?
It was a gift. It was a gift for you.
I sold them for what, like 4 gold, and I put 10 gold in the guild bank. So sue me.
Oh, it hurts. I have a receipt. That was 10 gold. Probably. That hurt. That hurts, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you need a hug, Dale?
Things are lovingly given to you, and you sell them.
I gave them back to the guild. Well, I see, because I put them in the guild bank, and then it was either Deo or Tavik reminded me that people were just going to give them back to me if they won them. So I took them out of the guild bank and turned them into gold, which no one will sacrifice.
He literally sent like a message to, we have like a thing for all officers, so like when we do our meetings, and he was like, yeah, I'm just going to sell them and put the money in the guild bank. Or no, originally he said he's just going to put them in the guild bank and we'll put them as a prize. I was like, you know, like 99% of the group is just going to give them back to you, right?
I would have.
See, exactly.
I wouldn't have. I would have kept it.
See?
You would have been the one that ruins the joke.
Yes. Isn't that? I think that's my job today. So I just gotta keep rolling with it.
Oh, this is just gonna be an interesting podcast. We make a joke. Lee's just like, no. I'll tell you why that isn't funny. And I mean, you don't have to do that. We probably have a lot of YouTubers that will gladly tell us that in the comments.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Especially when Aaron starts talking.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
All right, let's get right into it. First up, last Tuesday we actually had the Heart of Thorns beta, closed beta for anyone that got portals through Silver Waste or Dry Top.
It was a blast.
Or through emails. What's that?
It was a blast. I had a great time there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are some of your general thoughts overall about the Heart of Thorns beta, and if you were in it, have you played in it before? Because they did do the closed beta and also a version at like PAX, so maybe give a quick thing of how much experience you've had in these new areas. Whoever would like to go first?
Aaron.
I don't know, just overall with the beta event, what happened with me was I was just really disappointed with the scope of the beta. And I know the beta event was to test the day-night cycle. That was the purpose. And they did that relatively well. There was at least one cycle for every phase. I played all 3 phases. And it seemed okay. It's just it didn't feel to me like things really ramped up at night like they said they were going to, and that was another thing. Obviously, they're going to continue balancing. I think with feedback from this event, they'll definitely scale things a lot more difficult, to be a lot more difficult in the night cycle. But as of right now, I was really disappointed with the very minuscule amount of map we got to play for it being so far along from the last beta event.
I mean, it felt like there was a lot more of the story stuff that was in there than what I saw at PAX East. So that was nice to see the progression through the area. I was disappointed because I'm pretty sure we hit a point with when we were helping with it was the Itzel we were helping, right? With their quest events, I think we hit a point where the next step just wasn't in, so we stalled out on one event, and no matter what you did, you couldn't progress it. So either that was a bug or it was intended, and then if that was the intended last thing that you could do as part of that event chain, I wish it was put in, like, some way to know, because as it was, we just spent like 20 minutes trying to do it, and we couldn't do the event, you know?
Well, there was actually something fairly similar when I was playing ESO for their original beta, where it was one of the betas before, like, I want to say 2 weeks before launch of the actual game itself, and you're progressing through the Stonefalls area, and you get halfway through, and it's all of a sudden, there's nothing there. Like, literally, there was no mobs, nothing, and it's like, okay, is the game not finished? And so they could maybe be doing something similar, where it's like, it's all finished to actually be on there, but they just want to test one segment at a time and going, well, we know this part works, so we're going to work on this part here. This is all you get. And you're like, but I want to play it all right now.
Well, like, I was in that, and that was another moment. Like, I don't mind them having the cutoffs to focus on what they want to focus on. I just wish it was communicated to the players, because, like, especially in that case, it was like, whoa, there's nothing here. That just comes all across weird. For people playing the event in the Guild Wars 2 beta, it was like, oh, well, I guess it's broken or something. Like, you didn't know if it was intended or if it was a problem. And that, if they meant for it to be like that, I feel like it shouldn't be too hard to say, hey, this is the cutoff. Like, that's where you get.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the one thing. I'm kind of curious to see how many like bug reports they got just for like that specific event, because what if, like, you know, we have that nice yeah, we have that nice little system that says, you know, has the event thing. Couldn't they changed out the event text to say, like, this will finish with the launch of, you know, HOT, kind of like how I think at the beginning you have that option to pick one of the sides, but
oh yeah, you could only pick
yeah, they said the other
with,
ones you can do
face.
with the full version. Like, if they would have had that, people, well, some people would have been relaying the information to the other people that weren't looking at the text. But yeah, I think that would have gotten things across better, because it felt like it was bugged because it involved like stealth mechanics, it seemed like, and we were just all sitting there like, I think we did what we had to do. Like,
yeah, one thing that kind of bugged me, but which is a relatively easy fix, is the events weren't scaling very well. The amount of people who were there, like, we'd have like 20 people there and 6 monsters attacking us. It was like, this is absurdly easy.
Where then on the other side, there'd be like nobody and like 30 monsters, and you're like, ah!
Yeah, I mean, obviously they'll even that out. I just really hope they're able to fine-tune it to where it's a lot more challenging than events are currently in the rest of Tyria, because in the rest of Tyria, most events are just easy, straight up, no matter how many people you have. So.
Well, is it for the events you're talking about? Are they like dynamic events? Because, like I said, I'm only level 2, so I'm still getting to understand the game. So I will be asking a lot of questions in the podcast to understand some of the information that's coming out.
Well, like, there's different, like, so there, most of the way Tyria's set up, the events are, they're pretty easy. Like, literally you can beat them with 2 or 3 people, but like in Silver Waste, some of those events are still really hard, unless you have people who are actually knowing what they're doing. I feel like that's the direction they're moving in. Like, these will be more along those lines.
Yeah.
I totally just dropped my keyboard.
Good job.
Yeah, for stuff like that, it's always anything that's an event that's tied to like how many people are based in the area. It's a really hard back-end thing to write like a formula of, well, this many, because then also you have to factor in, well, are they high level or low level? It's like, okay, you have a group of 40 level 80s all at the high level thing. It's like, okay, or at a low level thing, it's like, do we send like crap loads of mobs at these guys, or do we just send 3 guys? And it's like, we won.
Yeah, and that's definitely an issue for like the other zones. Even though we have like a downscaling system, it's still a cakewalk if you're level 80 in Queensdale because a level 2 is not going to have their elite or abilities. Heck, they're not even going to have all their skills, which
Thanks, new player experience.
I was gonna say, let's not get onto that. But so yeah, even if we have downscaling where it, minimizes your health and all that stuff, it's still more of a cakewalk. So I definitely see that issue. But in these new areas, they're level 80 stuff. So yes, you probably could go there theoretically with a 75 but it'd be like going to like the level 80 parts of ore or the level 80 parts of Frostgorge Sound as a 75. You'll have a tougher experience, but
And that's what makes it more satisfying is those challenges a lot of times is like when you go a thing, it's like, okay, this requires 5 people. I'm gonna go solo this. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, yes!
yeah, that's when you pull out your Norn Guardian and then you're just fine.
That's kind of what I mean though. Like in the rest of Kyria, Silver Wastes, and Dry Top aside, because those are much newer zones with much better scaled events. But like in others, say Frostgorge Sound, for example, you're going to be level 70 and 80 in there. There's group events that take place there that can be soloed relatively easily. Like that's how poor some of the events scaling is, just because of power creep and people getting better at the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest issue is like right now, yeah, like people were able to kind of push through the content. Like I know it was the second go around when we actually did it for Talking Skritt. We actually went south and like escorted like the hunters all the way up there, and we were actually damaging. Like there's basically a almost double event going on where one side is on one side of the vine. There are groups on the other side of the vine. Vine has like a protective shield, and while the one group kills a mob, that makes the other one pull down the shield, where the other people have to have mortars ready to shoot the vine when it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
We were pretty close, and then the servers got reset.
More Dramathia's elite skill.
Almost there.
Like I think everything did, because I think afterwards I tried to get into like just the regular game and it was just like nope.
Yeah, everything went down. It was.
We were getting too close. ArenaNet, we know.
But as for your thing for power creep, that's an issue with every single MMO out there when like expansion comes out. Is like in World of Warcraft for Mists of Pandaria, I didn't start replacing my gear until I think the second to last zone because I had full heroic raid tier gear from the thing, and I don't know how the gear really works in Guild Wars 2, but I'm certain there's something similar where, like, if you've been working hard making legendaries or making yourself the best gear, when you go into the next expansions, they usually don't want to make it irrelevant, like, within the first zone.
Well, that's one thing with Guild Wars 2 is they don't introduce a next level of gear. Like, there's the highest level of gear, and that's the highest level of gear. There will never be a higher level of gear.
Creep.
Yeah, it's not as much of an issue in Guild Wars 2. What I meant by power creep was more just people figuring out the game more and getting better at it. More
like when people finally realize that when you dodge things, you don't have to actually get all the way out of the circle. You just have to dodge at the right time. Like that was a big.
Wait, you can dodge abilities?
Yeah.
Incredible.
But that was a big.
That's not needed at level 2. Don't worry.
But the other thing that I hope in the beta that they figure out, and I'm sure they'll do it better because it's better in the rest of the game, but in the new zone, so it's a very vertical zone, and I feel like what levels things were on weren't communicated well in the map at all. Like there was no switching between the levels to see where things are like there are on the other maps, and that was frustrating for me because I hadn't really run around that zone before, so for me it was like, how do I even get there? I can't even tell, you know? So I hope they really have a plan for making that better, because if that's the way they plan on having the map, it's awful.
Like kind of like how they have in like the Grove, where things are faded out if they're not on that level. Yeah, I really didn't think about it.
There's a lot of zones like that where you have, you know, your different levels that you could select, and like this is a perfect map where that would be so useful. But it's not there. Yeah,
I actually didn't think of that until I think it was our the second batch and you were with us, and you were still running through the like tutorial-esque thing.
Yeah.
And as soon as you got out, we're like, oh yeah, we're south, and you're like, I don't know how to get there, because now that I think about it, when you first get there, you just see valley, cliff. Yes, it's like,
Yeah. And, like, the paths are curvy, and like some go up, some go down, some go up and then down, and you're like,
None of them
I'm
make
not
sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, that's the
Like,
whole
there's
thing.
no
Is
straight
the
path.
journey. Come on, it's the journey as we go along. We discover more stuff.
Because
Yeah.
I remember when we were doing that Kill the Giant Vine event, you know, you had the one part of the event on this side and the one on, you know, over here. But you didn't just go from A to B. You went this really big, absurd route, and I had to follow someone because I was like, I don't know how to get where you guys are.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great that they have that set up. I like that it's not, you know, linear like that. It makes it more interesting. It just needs to be communicated in the maps, because right now the map is like useless. Completely
I would agree
useless.
with that. I think the reason was people probably knew it, or like I know what the reason I knew it was basically have to like forge your way through the place, so it takes you step by step. But you know, I at no time during the beta, and that's one thing I didn't think about, was if you get there after it's started and like people are already gone, it's like how do I get there exactly?
And
Yeah.
I was behind because also I ended up having to do the story thing in the beginning twice. So like I got there way after everything had already moved on, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the bugs. Was did it with someone in your group, or was that a bug, or did you?
Okay, so the problem what happened was I was grouped with Malthanis, and he went into the room before me, so it popped up for me to join him. I never actually went into the room, so it didn't cue me to the next step. So therefore, we went through the whole story together, and I didn't get credit for that. I feel like if you're grouped with somebody, there should be some kind of mechanic there where you can join them as soon as you go in the room. You don't get the pop-up until you get in the room, or something. Or like as soon as you accept the thing to go into the instance, it'll move you to the next one. Like I feel like there's got to be a way to make that better, because it sucks to go through the whole story and think you're going the whole thing, because I didn't realize I didn't have it, because my character still talked and did all the things during the story as if she was on those steps too. So like it wasn't obvious that I wasn't going to get credit until at the end. It was like, oh, well, shoot, now I have to go do it again. So
Which is nice to
maybe not
know.
technically a bug.
Seems like going forward with the story, even if it's not your version of the instance, can still be the main character, which is
yes.
So
that is nice.
That's actually cool. Unfortunately, it seems like it might not work fully.
Yeah, I think they just need to have some kind of mechanic to catch that. Ugh. Sorry, I have an eyelash poking my eye.
While we're on the topic of things that weren't quite clear enough, that mastery UI.
And the best part is they made it clearer than what it was originally. It's clearer than it was originally, because there were no pop-ups explaining it to you originally. It was just, oh, hey, there's the bar, and you should know that you click it.
Oh yeah, those pop-ups that I instantly were like, well, get these out of here. They're in my way.
That's on you, Deo.
But yeah, like, because we started playing and we didn't figure out, we thought the mastery system was unavailable for the first hour or so until we finally figured out, oh, you have to, because you have to hit this arrow in the top corner to spend your point.
Yeah.
But its texture is it's not differentiated from the backdrop very well, so I couldn't even see it.
Yeah,
so.
They need to tighten up some of the textures there too. It was also
easy
weird
fix.
Because like you spend the point and then you earn the XP in that bar, and that's when your point gets it's a little confusing. Like how you select that.
Instead of like a lightly faded check mark that like was hard to see, they should just have like a picture of like Colin Johansson's face, at least for the beta, until they have it figured out. Like when you press it, it lights his teeth up.
It's okay.
Seriously, when you press it, it lights his teeth up. I think it would work. I would then know that's the one I have activated.
See.
Hey, everybody's seen all the like the hype train gif and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Look, they already have the asset for the head. I'm just saying.
I
Could just
really
easily
think
put
they
it-
need to put Colin Johansson's head in the game just as an Easter egg, though. Come on, they need to do that.
They're gonna have one last beta where they're like, you'll get to test the Morgemoth fight, and it's like literally just Colin Johansson's head on Morgemoth.
Just
Oh my
all I
gosh.
want it to be is like after you've killed Morgemoth and you're in whatever post-killing Morgemoth instance you're in with everybody cheering for you, yay.
Mhm.
There's some little kid there with a stick and it's got a Colin head on the end of it, and he's just waving it.
No,
there's-
no,
Like,
no.
as in like a
No,
maybe
not
a
like
balloon,
like a-
or
like a
literally
picture.
a head on a
No.
pike. Like,
Not a head on a
That's what
pike,
I'm saying. I'm
like a
no.
picture of it.
Yeah, I thought-
oh, okay, well, okay, a picture is different than literally a head on a stick.
Yeah.
I was like, you're going to a very dark place.
No,
Eric.
I meant like a popsicle stick with a paper picture. Okay, never mind.
Okay,
So this
that's
was
so
a-
bad.
But actually, one of the ESO lives, they actually have something that's like that, where one of the developers, apparently, people have asked like, "Do you guys have a DPS dummy that we can have in game?" Like, well, we have one internally, and his name is Eric Rorbel, and it's like one of the developers, and they actually like, it's like, okay, today we're beating on Eric with this testing stuff. He's like, yeah, I get all the crap kicked out of me.
And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something like that during like when they go open betas for them, just because they tend to
Yeah.
do like goofy beta events, like one-time things.
For like
I mean,
the last of beta, I would expect
Yeah.
something fun and silly.
no,
They might bring out more Dremoth to kill us all randomly.
or it just starts raining Colin hype trains from the
Oh
sky.
my gosh.
Or apparently his head on a pike, according to Aaron.
Yeah,
No.
apparently that's what Aaron wants. That's
I can never talk to him now.
I was gonna say so. are
not,
you
not
looking
without
for
security.
a
I
fresh
think.
fire now?
I mean,
I mean, because we know the devs watch our show because they're best buddies with Robin. So
Oh,
and
no.
they're like first mail carriers. Now he's trying to put our
Yeah.
our
Colin,
lead game designer's
Colin,
head
yeah.
on a pike.
Colin, they're putting words in my mouth. Okay, you know what's up. Don't listen to them.
I hope he gets this part and he's just like, he's like, I literally am the forefront of all this. I know about people putting words in my mouth. It's like I know your pain, which we'll probably talk about a couple things later about, devs saying something and people going,
About
hey,
pain.
they didn't say this though.
There's gonna be mounts, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Flying mouse?
Oh yeah, now that we're on iTunes, now I can't just mouth the word no. But I mean, was there anything else like interesting from the Heart of Thorns beta that we had last week that you found interesting? Or I mean, does it feel ready to you guys, knowing that it
Beginning
possibly is by the end of the year, allegedly? Like, we don't know for sure. Like,
I don't
that's
know,
the thing to
20
stress.
Not till
2016.
2020. It's not coming out till 2020.
I thought it was
I think they
2016.
can still make the end of the year.
Christmas.
That Lee?
I thought it was 2016 Christmas. That's what I was told. You gotta make sure for the marketing value. So if you hold it off, you just kind of tease it a little bit, about 1 year. That should be a good tease hype end. 2016. How are this?
Please no.
I mean, they could still like surprise us and try to release in fall, but I don't see that.
I'm thinking I'm still thinking November. That was what I've been thinking for a while, and I still think they can make that. They need to get on it with releasing things and testing the specializations. I still can't believe that the specializations they've announced were in this beta. That was a very big disappointment to me.
Well, and that was one of my kind of things that I came away with was if they want to release this game this year, they have to start ramping up the public beta tests, and they've showed that they're going to start doing that because we've got another one coming up for Stronghold on Tuesday. So
yeah, which
I
hopefully
think this
they
is-
made some changes. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I think this is
exactly the same.
yeah, I think it's the start of them ramping up the beta tests, so that's a good sign.
I don't have my tinfoil hat, but I'm gonna make a prediction for you guys' show on when it's gonna come out.
Let's do this right. All right.
Wait, you guys have a
Your
way to
center of
predict all
attention.
that? Oh, Joy, this will be fun. If they're gonna follow the thing like almost every other game company does out there now, where they go against each other, they're gonna wait till Blizzard announces their next expansion and try to do it whenever the next expansion's supposed to come out for Blizzard, or when they announce this. Because I know ESO did the exact same thing. They're like, oh, here, we're doing this right now.
Yeah.
I was
No, a
say
lot of
weirdly
games
that
do
happened
that,
to Guild Wars 2. Like they announced, they released Guild Wars 2, and I can't
Miss
miss the
Pandaria
came out
Yeah.
like literally a month, like, probably not even a month. It was like
I think it was a month. I think it was a few months later, wasn't it?
No, it was pretty close timing.
It was pretty
Oh,
close
okay.
time. I remember.
I thought it came out in like September, whereas like
I don't. Wow.
Uh-oh,
Say-
she's typing.
he's gonna find out, so we don't get yelled at on the internet. But
The internet says.
September sounds right. I don't know things.
But
yeah,
that's
'cause
my prediction.
we had the
is-
head start at like in August, so
Oh, it was September 21st.
So we're about a month apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which at that point, they're already hyping that game up, so it's
Yeah.
I
out.
think
It's one of those things where it's out, but you can't touch it. Like you can't play it yet.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot of the gaming companies I've noticed they've been doing that a lot more. Like Blizzard used to do it to all of them, and now they're starting to go, we're returning the favor.
Mhm.
Well, because it's like you'd think they'd want to kind of run unopposed, but at the same time, competition builds hype. Because if you'll
Yes.
hear about one, then you'll hear about the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see them doing something like having the launch date like somewhere around when BlizzCon is, but I don't think that this expansion will launch anywhere around WoW's next expansion because that's not going to be for a while. I don't care what Blizzard says; it's not going to be for a while.
So you're calling them false right now.
I think they're being a little naively optimistic.
Yeah, we all are at times.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for this to. I'm still feeling September at some point, but
Really? You really think September?
I'm saying next month.
Okay. I mean, troll comment is troll, but if Deo's September is to happen, I mean,
I
they're
think at
really gonna-
E3 because I already called that they possibly could have been at E3 in earlier shows, and they're going.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. They're going to have announcements, but a launch in September, I don't see it.
I mean,
Still too much out there.
I think it's very likely that they'll announce the release date at E3, but
Yeah,
not
I
the
could see
September
that.
one.
What I think E3 is going to have is they're going to announce pre-purchase and how to buy it, and they might say quarter,
I don't
quarter
think we'll
three.
get that.
What?
I don't think they're going to give us like it's going to be in this quarter or anything like that. I think we're going to get a release date or they're not going to say anything about when it's coming out.
Yeah, usually about this far out, they like to give a vague thing of, well, it's going to be around Christmas time. It's going to be around like this time.
Or maybe
they
this
can't
year.
usually nail down.
Okay, yeah, I could see them saying like 20, like
This
just
year.
saying 2015, like,
Mhm.
but maybe not quarter or anything like that. But I think
It's
we're
kinda
gonna
like
get the
Overwatch
pre-purchase
beta.
stuff,
2015.
and the reason we had this beta was maybe to get that portal thing out of the way, since that supposedly the pre-purchase gets you into all the, I think just PvE betas, but I'd have to
Yeah.
look or.
Just PvE ones.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they're ramping it up, but they just wanted to get that portal one out of the way before this announcement. Maybe that's why some people, because yeah, I think a lot of people agree that it seemed lackluster since a lot of stuff they announced wasn't in this beta.
Mhm.
Well, and the beta portals, those were just for this past event, right? Okay.
And
Like,
that's
they
why I
might
think
do
they
a
want to get it.
round of them dropping from something to get something else, but like,
Yeah, I could definitely see that those beta portals just being a switch they pop on and off for
Yeah.
whatever events. So
Yeah, they
until
might do it
pre-orders
again. Who
become
knows?
available.
It seemed like
Yeah,
it was
so-
successful, but it seemed like it was also a headache in some aspects of the people on the internet.
well,
so
Saying it
people
wasn't
on the
fair.
internet are gonna get mad about anything.
What's that, Lee?
If so, you're going to take me farming for them on my level 2.
I would
yeah,
gladly take your low level into a level 80 zone. Oh, did you die again? I'll bring
like,
another
alright,
character so I can level him up off the experience of rezzing you.
Yeah, I'll bring my level 8 Mesmer that I have in Silver Waste.
We should
This'll
do
be
that
fun.
sometime. I'll bring low level characters to the
And just
server.
try to kill one thing.
I
That'll
was
be
say,
our
we
night's
tried to
mission.
test things like that before, where we tried to take like low levels down to ore. And I think I did it with Roy when he was like on like level like 40, and they were coming across the water to kill him. And I was like, yeah, this is gonna be tough. I couldn't imagine taking like a level 8 to an 80 zone.
Yeah.
They'll be coming in the fort to get you. But
We smell fresh meat.
yeah, exactly. We'll teach you. But moving from one beta ending, they announced Stronghold Beta is coming literally next Tuesday.
Meh.
And well, I guess I don't have to go to Aaron to find out his feelings on it.
Nor.
But it's supposed to go live June 2nd, which is next Tuesday at noon Pacific. So plan accordingly. And
It'll go for 24 hours.
yeah, it'll once again be a 24-hour one, pretty much similar to the last Stronghold Beta. And I think, like we were saying earlier, that's the one worry is they didn't say anything new about it. Like, is it literally gonna be the same thing? Hopefully they tweak things. I mean,
Yeah, I'm hoping at the very least they address some of the bugs that were found in the last one. The really big hope is like maybe they've made some changes to how it functions to try some things out to, just to see how making some changes would work and affect things, but I don't know. They haven't said anything about it, so.
and if you don't know about this, like Stronghold PvP match style, it works. The best way I could say is it's kind of a simpler MOBA in the sense that you can hire like followers, I guess, to take down certain barriers like walls and take out the guild lord at the end. So it's basically like a 2-lane MOBA. And what's that?
Never played a MOBA.
I have, but I'm not good at it, so don't worry.
I played one game of League and I was like,
It's kind of MOBA-esque, but it's not really a MOBA. Like,
It's a MOBA if you were using your own character. I mean,
yes, Age, I have tried Stronghold and it was very meh.
I don't know. I enjoyed it, but
I don't
yes,
wanna
it definitely needed tweaked. I mean, and that was the purpose of the first one because so many people found broken things with it.
yeah.
And I wasn't a big fan of the strategy of. It seemed like the strategy that turned out from the first one was basically everybody rushing both sides, and
just ignoring the other players completely.
which really defeats the purpose of player versus player. But
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping they've done, like some things to try and tweak that to like make that not such a thing.
Incentivize more of the PvP over the PvE segment.
Yeah, I mean their goal with it is the point of Stronghold is a mode. I keep wanting to say mold. A mode that is more appealing for PvE players to get them interested in PvP and learn about PvP, which right now it's really good for PvEers because you don't have to ever do anything with the other people, but like that's not really getting them to the PvP side. They need to pull it a little more towards PvP.
Well, this is one of the things I noticed recently for in like ESO. Maybe this is something that I don't know how your guys' crafting system works in Guild Wars 2, but in all the dungeons inside our Cyrodiil, there's aspect runes, which you have a chance of getting the best, the thing for a high level enchants, like the best thing in there. So it's risk versus reward, where you can go into all those places in there and go after the stuff, but you may be ganked, you may be killed, and you'll have to engage in PvP if you want to be that some of those crafters.
There's nothing like that really.
PvE and PvP and Guild Wars 2 are completely separate.
Yeah.
Never the twain shall meet.
Yep.
I love how Aaron did the chop and Robin did the split. Like that was perfect.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
yeah, I mean, I would like to actually see like a system like that in World v World, which is kind of what the like Cyrodiil's system in ESO is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe having that risk reward, like maybe a special crafter in Stone Mist, which is kind of the more difficult thing to capture in game. A lot more territory, which would give people an incentive to go.
Well, I don't know. It also gets into one of the things that Guild Wars 2 tries to do in general is like they want people to try different modes, but they don't want people to feel like they have to play a particular mode to get a thing. Like they've been trying to introduce more systems so that no matter what mode you play, you can still get whatever thing you might be interested in getting. Like, you know, getting the dungeon tokens from doing SPVP and stuff and all that, not trying to force people to go into other modes to get the things that they want. So, I mean, it would be nice to like encourage people to try them more, but like there's a balance they'll have to find with that because, like I said, they don't want to force people to be like, hey, if this is the thing you want, then you have to do world versus world or something, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing for every MMO. You never want to force your player base to have to do anything. You want to have them the freedom, ability to go play your playstyle and enjoy the game that we've created put forward for you.
I mean, that's the whole reason they took the map completion out of the world versus world things, because it made nobody happy, because people who only PvE'd and didn't want a world versus world were mad that they had to go in there and wait for their team to actually have the thing that they wanted to do. And all the people who did world versus world were mad about it because they had all these people who, like, didn't do world versus world and didn't understand what was going on, like, doing things and messing up their strategies. So... like, it makes nobody happy when you force people to have.
And then you have
Yeah,
people
and
who
I mean,
challenge
someone
them.
in chat is saying you have to do PvP to get the glorious armor. So there,
It's true.
and I do agree that they have done a good job about that, where you can get the majority of stuff from just playing any of the modes you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they shouldn't forget about like how Guild Wars 1 was, where you had to do a certain game, like maybe this certain dungeon or something, to get this special looking armor. It doesn't inhibit you from doing other content, but if you want to look cool with this armor, you have to do this. Kind of like what the glorious armor does. Now, whether you think it's like cool looking or not, that's same thing with the was it Fissure of Woe armor from Guild Wars 1.
I was gonna say also the Mistforged weapons.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they come out with like new Mistforged weapons for like maybe the other tournaments, what if you could craft the old ones in the Stone Mist Castle? Or something of those, like a unique skin that's only for World v World.
Well, that's what the Mistforged are.
Yeah, that's what they are right now.
And that's why I was using those as an example, but if they come out with a new set or maybe a special set just for there, so to go in World v World, or even PvP, like they have the glorious armor. Maybe they'll have glorious weapons.
How glorious is it truly? Please tell me.
It's all subjective, Lemmy.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
It's an okay armor set. Let's put it this way: the glorious armor set does not make me want to grind all those PvP ranks to get it. It's not that nice.
Can I bring up a question in chat?
Definitely. You should totally do that.
So, Taryn's asking, Dale, are you using XSplit to run this show?
No, because I want it to run. But, yeah, I think the... thanks for bringing that question. Yeah, love you too. Oh, boy. Yeah, I think if there's one or two unique things for every game mode, I don't think that's a huge problem. Especially since Guild Wars 2, you don't have stat creep or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't have the sort of beef with that a lot of people do. It's just my beef is more with Gem Store versus everything else. But I if they came out for a skin, an armor set for that was PvP exclusive, for example, that I had to have, I would get in PvP and grind the ranks out, even if I would hate every second of it.
Well, it's for every game. People want those shinies. And if you make something shiny enough, they'll be like, I don't care, whatever I have to do, I'm going to get that shiny.
Yeah.
Like, was it from World of Warcraft, Insane in the Membrane? Some people just want that title, and it's like, literally, you're insane for doing it. Congratulations. But
Yeah.
that's one of the things for shinies. You need to diversify your shinies
And I-
because there's people that different things.
I was gonna say I don't know offhand, but I know in chat they're saying that they thought when they were going for the reward track that they would get all the items. I don't know if the icon deliberately says one, or I'm just remembering from doing the other reward tracks, which, if that is the case, that it doesn't distinctly say like you get one item to choose. Like I'm trying to remember, but I don't remember the tooltip.
Tokens so you can buy the other items from the
Well,
reward
in the
tracks?
case of I think it's the Glorious set, so there isn't like tokens to build up for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that's just earned through rank progression.
I
the
thought
same
you
way
guys
the other
meant
reward
like the
tracks are.
reward tracks for like the dungeon pass through
Well, and that's where I pull it from. So I knew at the end you only get one piece out of it, but if they don't distinctively say in there, I would say and that's the thing, people can overlook it easily. But yeah, if it says on the
as we
tooltip,
were just talking about with the masteries and the pop-ups.
they just need Colin Johansson's face there. You're saying that's the solution?
No, I'm saying people sometimes don't read and just close the thing.
Oh yeah,
Who
yeah, I did
reads
that.
stuff in the MMO? Everything can be voiced over, including the pop-ups.
Okay, yeah. In chat, they're saying that it's not as clear on the other chests. Yeah, I don't remember the tooltip, so I don't know if I was basing it off the other tracks that were dungeon or not.
They should have the tooltips voiced over, like if you scroll over, since you guys like Colin Johansson so much, he starts reading to you. This ability starts doing blah blah blah. Da, 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 da,
Actually, if
and
everything,
smile
if
at
there were Colin Johansson audio logs to be found throughout the game, I'm in. Make this a thing. Please.
Don't try to like weasel your way back in. You're already hated.
No, dude, Colin, me and Colin are
He's listening
cool.
to it.
No,
He's
what's
like,
up, Colin?
oh, now he's giving me more work.
No, me and Colin are cool. He knows what I meant.
Yeah, you wanted his head on a stick.
Listen,
Like,
listen,
we all know
Colin
what you meant.
Johansson. Colin Johansson does not even know I exist on the planet Earth. Okay, we're good.
But Chad does say they like the idea of voice acting the tooltips.
Ooh, I had a
So-
good idea.
Maybe
I have
it's your
feelings
character
about
reading
that.
it out. That might help.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, everybody.
Right.
Maybe it's
everybody
Traherne.
would rule Surin, or not a Surin, Sylvari then, so they can hear.
It still wouldn't solve the problem because people wouldn't listen. Like your character
Yeah.
would read it out and they'd still be like, "Wait, how do you do this? I wasn't paying
Well,
attention."
There's also people, and there's also the side effect, because with anything, when you're looking at an idea, you have to look at it from pros and cons. The cons is, okay, like as you're scrolling your abilities, you keep on hearing dit, like like you could probably, it would actually be awesome because you could do like a DJ thing with it.
So what you're saying is it'll just create more machinima. I mean, I'm seeing no downside here. This is.
We do need more machinima in the Guild Wars 2 community. This is true.
Yeah. There is some good ones out there, but there aren't that many.
Yeah, I've seen a few pretty funny ones. I can't make them, but
I still
community.
think one of my favorite videos anybody has made is the dance party ones. Those are just really entertaining and well done.
They're even
hilarious.
better. They're even better in Guild Wars 1 though, because there were so many more dances.
Well,
Weirdly, we got very far away from strongholds and talking about now machinimas.
Listen, we're like a 90% PvE podcast, okay?
Very true,
Deal
but
with it.
I just want to let
Not
people
PvP.
know if
Another
there
game.
is something like if they like strongholds, they're actually holding 2 tournaments. One that seems more for EU and one that seems more for NA. And I think it's filling up fast. Like I think it's a maximum of 16 teams, I want to say, each. But they said
for the tournament.
yeah.
It's 16.
So, and they have links on their blog post on their main site. They said there's gem codes for ranking higher in the tournaments, and for teams who win at least a round, I think they're giving out mini llamas. So, if
Do they
that
spit?
interests you, what's that?
Do they spit? The llamas.
I
do
don't
not spit.
believe so, but I think you can buy an
Oh.
item to give him a top hat.
Oh.
He's like, no spitting, but top hat.
Yeah, there's top hats.
If you combine the llamas. I think there's.
Well, I think there's an item in the from
That's,
the
I'm
oral
pretty
vendor.
sure that's llamaception.
Yeah.
But
like,
for people that don't know, the Europe one is the ESL Stronghold 5v5 Cup, and that's happening Tuesday, June 2nd at 12:30 Pacific time.
I was gonna suggest we could make a team.
To get out real fast, yeah. If you got things to do, we can go in and lose
I
it
was gonna
pretty
say.
quickly.
All you have to do is win one match. Just one match.
Yeah, that's asking a lot.
That is asking a
We
great
won.
deal.
2 matches.
I'll join you with whatever I.
We win in unranked. Okay.
I'll say that
That's
would be the
win.
bad thing. I
No.
think Lee would actually be able to help us more than like me or Aaron could. And he has a
Probably.
level 2 and just recently got the game, like, so.
Sigh.
But see, that's the Europe one. Since we're in North America, we'd have to do the North American one, which is the Academy Gaming / Aspect GG Stronghold Beta Cup.
That's like they have names.
And that
They have
one's
names?
also,
Oh God.
that's
Yeah.
how you know they're
They have
serious.
names.
And
I
that one
know.
also is June 2nd at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. So those are the two ones. If there's still spots open and you're interested in it, more than likely by the time this podcast comes out, I wouldn't be surprised if they're already filled, especially even right now.
I mean, yeah, we might have to do a masochistic stream of our team entering.
I was gonna
Oh,
do a
jeez.
stream of us playing anyways, but yeah, totally do the tournament. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind
The
streaming
Tuesday.
the actual thing on Tuesday.
That's Tuesday. I actually have the day off.
Hey.
And the great part about PvP in Guild Wars 2 is when you go in there, you'll have all the core skills and stuff, so you don't have to go out and search for them. You're basically an 80 when you walk in there, so
Yep.
you're on an
All right.
even footing.
So we're doing this. I have no clue what I'm
Sure,
doing.
sure, I will.
All right, I'll help you guys out.
I mean, I was gonna say we can try, but like he said, the spots might fill up with people who
I'll have
actually
to
care.
check afterwards.
Oh, you meant legitimately going to the tournament? No, I thought you just meant to play the Stronghold, but I'll do either. I don't mind.
Oh, I thought you guys were talking about entering the tournament.
Hey,
I was
I'm done
talking
for the
about that.
tournament.
I was like, that would be kind of mean though, because there's probably some people who really wanted to get
Yeah,
in,
there are people
and then
that-
there'd be us taking their spot.
Honestly, if they haven't signed up at this point.
Everybody else, it's like, because I've seen streams where people are like, I'm practicing for the tournament, where we're showing up, hello!
And watch this, we win. It's like we win one of the things. It's like, how the fuck do these guys like?
Yeah. Things
Like,
Yeah.
literally the gate goes
It's like-
down, our backs are turned. When does this start? Oh! Yeah, I think we should do everybody a service and not enter, because I think that would be mean to the people.
Well, so that you're saying that there's a limit on people that can enter the tournament?
Yeah, there's only
Yeah, that's going to be
16
teams of 5, and
They have so
it
much
seems
time,
16 teams per tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I'd be surprised if there's still spots available.
Well, what we can do is if there's nobody on Monday, then we'll sign up. Deal?
Okay.
All right. Aaron's just like, oh god, what am I doing?
Listen, at your own peril.
Honestly, I cannot see
It'd be for the
16
fun.
teams not being in there by Monday. And it's going to have to probably be the North American one for half of us to make it, just because 12:30 Pacific, majority of us are going to still be at work.
Yep.
So, Aaron, it's on our side. We're good. I'm hoping we're good. Someone check real quick. I think we're
All
good.
right, Paige,
Anyways.
stop everybody from signing up.
I have
We're going
Tuesdays
to...
off.
Things you wanted to talk about, Deo?
Hmm?
Before you keep going on and on about the tournament we're probably not going to do.
It's true, we're not going to do that.
I told Lumi if no one signs up by Monday, which I highly doubt. I keep saying that to make myself believe it.
You and Lumi can enter as a duo.
No, we'll have Age. He's our ringer. He was
Yeah.
our ringer last time.
That's true. He's actually good at like killing people. So, in game.
Yeah. First about
I don't know,
the
I met him personally at BlizzCon last year. He seemed kind of scary.
you know what's
I don't
not
know.
scary?
Oh my
Gem
god.
store stuff.
No. They
Oh.
came out with another blog post, the Hidden Arcana Developer Spotlight.
Oh yeah.
And it was Kristen Cox, who is kind of, we've talked about her like previously. She's kind of well known for taking control of the gem store, and kind of people refer to the blackline chests as where the blackline chests, if you don't know, are basically an assortment of random things like boosters, whatnot, and you can get like blackline tickets or blackline ticket scraps that you can trade in for special unique skins.
They're goodie boxes. Every game has.
Yeah, you just
Little
basically
gamble
spend
boxes.
gems, whether in-game gold or real money, and you can get keys to unlock the boxes. Well, they've the RNG behind them. Some people are, of course, never satisfied, and they always point to Kristen Cox for this reason. But in this developer spotlight, they kind of go with what she did before ArenaNet, kind of why she wanted to work with ArenaNet, and so on and so forth. And the parts that I really didn't realize were that we really didn't know about from other articles and whatnot was that she actually spearheaded the development of the new mastery system, which I, for one, like. I mean, how do you guys feel about the mastery system as much as we see it? Now, granted, apart from the AI things that we've talked about where you can't see a check mark, but those can be changed.
I was super happy with. I spec'd into bouncing mushrooms, and that was fun. So.
And that was all you wanted to do for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Just bounce mushrooms around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can trade
System's
into
a good
mushrooms
idea.
that will, some you can bounce on to get to higher areas, some that will give you speed buffs.
It's just like in World of Warcraft, one of the things that people loved most was engineering, because you could do all those little knickknacks. Every game, I believe, should have those little fun knickknacks where you're like, let's see what I can do with this. Oh shit! Oh, yeah. And it makes the game more lively and fun.
Once I could bounce on mushrooms, I was like, screw you guys, I'm out.
Yeah, I think if you
Really
go
was.
back to like when we were streaming it, because I think it was during the Talking Skritt one where you're just like, we're all fighting and into like a big battle, and we just hear you like, yeah, I'll be with you in a second. I found a mushroom.
Yeah.
Like,
And then I just spiraled out of control from there.
Yep.
that's gonna kill the
Yeah.
game. People just bouncing on mushrooms. Won't be able to get anything done.
No,
I put Bella because those are the best.
I like the concept of the developer spotlights. My issue with it is like, especially this one, it's basically like it might as well just be a list of things that she's done, like, which is cool and it serves a purpose, but like I feel like the focus of the developer spotlights should be like more presenting them as a person. Because like if there's one thing that all gaming communities are really bad at, is remembering that developers are people and treating them like people. So like I feel like the developer spotlight would be a good spot to do that. Be like, hey, this is a person, she does these cool things, but she also likes these things, and like giving people more of a view of the person, like the whole person, as opposed to just like giving us a list of things that she's done in the game. That's just my feeling on it. It always disappoints me when I see it like that, and where it's just very impersonal, and I feel like it's a missed opportunity with those spotlights.
Well, they do something kind of similar in the ESO Live, which is the podcast that's done by ZeniMax themselves. And maybe they could do something like that where they actually sit down with the developer and actually talk with them, and maybe like instead of doing like this list of stuff like you're talking about, they actually do like a small video where they sit down and actually talk to the person, like, yeah, so how did you start here? Like, so, like, what have your accomplishments? Like, what is your favorite part about the different things you've done? And make it so instead of just reading about the person, you're actually seeing the physical person, be like, oh, hey, this person's actually a human being, not just a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like,
Which is sort of, yeah, they do a little bit of that on Points of Interest and Ready Up. They give a little bit of background on the guests they have on, but that's still more game focused than dev focused.
I mean, like, more like, you can ask them, like, what kinds of things do they do, like, do they have interest in? Like, one of the things that I thought was really cool is to find out how many of the developers actually play D&D. That was really interesting to me and surprising. Like, things like that, like, taking it outside of just what their job is, like, give them the basic job stuff because that is interesting. but like take it a step further, because like, you know, no matter how much you love your job, you always have things that you do and enjoy outside of it and do other things. So,
Make sure we get their address, their zip code, and other stuff so we can start stalking them as well. Be like,
Mother's maiden name.
hello.
No, I actually like that idea of making it hobbies or their interests like that could possibly influence, you know, what they do or what they design. I mean, I think that would definitely be pretty cool to that direction as well.
well,
I don't know
that's
if they're
the
limited
like-
with how much they can type or. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that's the thing with anybody in any kind of creative role. You don't exist in a vacuum. Like everything that you do influences those other things. So knowing what some of those influences are and like all of that would be interesting.
Where you
And
get your inspirations from.
yeah, and like I said, it would present them as a real person. Like it's just
I
I
thought they
don't
were
know.
robots.
People are real.
They are real.
They
Man,
don't
I've
just
been doing
wind them
most
up
of my
for
life.
like conferences and like, all right, go out.
I think I said this when I got back from PAX East. It amazed me the number of times when I went up to a developer and just started having a conversation, not even about the game, but just about anything else. Like it was like they lit up, like there was so much relief, and you could just see them relaxing because they're like, oh my God, there's somebody actually like treating me like a regular person, and like I don't have to worry about spilling the beans about something. Like I get the sense that they appreciate that kind of stuff.
And
They
none of the
appreciate feeling
none of
human.
the devs were like waiting for you to be like, oh, so what are some of your hobbies and when is the release of the expansion? Like, wait, what?
I went
Yeah, like I kind of feel bad for people like Josh Foreman, for example, who are just linked to one specific thing, and that's all anyone ever thinks of them for.
Yeah.
Like that would, because you know, whenever he gets fan interactions, they're just like, so, Super Adventure Box.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just, at this point he's just eye rolling like it's done, it's over, go away.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
He should just start going, what? What's that? No, that's
You imagine that didn't happen.
I have
But-
no clue what you're talking about.
Yay.
I don't know if that's just you saying that or you pretending to be the dev.
Well,
Because
it's
Super Adventure
cool.
Box is, to be fair, unique, to say the least. It's basically
Yeah.
a Nintendo
as for
in the
you-
game.
If I ever had an interview with with any ArenaNet dev, that's one thing I really would like to ask them is, would you guys ever consider finishing SAB and selling it as a standalone game? Because I think that would be like the best thing they could do with it. I do. I think it would, because people, you don't even have to play. It has nothing to do with Guild Wars 2. You don't have to follow the universe or anything to buy it and
But
enjoy
I
it.
like it in Guild Wars 2. I like it as part of like that you go in and it's different and it's interesting. Like I like that aspect of it. I wouldn't want it separate. Like that to me that would lose a whole like part of
I mean, to
awesomeness
me, it's
about
already completely separate though, since it's not in the universe. Like
it. No, because you still like you go into it.
The
from
only thing-
trying to
the only
celebrate
thing linking
that
it is-
character.
the only thing linking it is Moto and his little station.
Yeah.
That's a negligible detail
You're
at
gonna
best.
cut out Moto? I mean, come on.
Eye roll Moto. Wow. Wow.
But as you were talking about, like for at PAX, the same thing happened to me at BlizzCon last year, where like I just randomly encountered devs and just start talking with them, and you could see, like you said, their eyes just kind of like I am human. It's like, yeah, you are.
Then they
But-
start going through like the repetition of like, yeah, it'll be coming out. Wait, what?
It's like, no, I can't. Wait. Oh, I actually can talk about that. Oh, yeah.
I can't talk to you
how-
about my hobbies. I'm sorry.
My
That's
hobbies
NDA,
are
I'm
NDA.
sorry.
Well, I'm sure people like Metzen and stuff like, no, I can't actually talk to you about that
Oh,
because
yeah.
otherwise you'd start stalking me.
That actually is one thing. Years ago, it was a thing in the game industry where like everybody knew game devs played other games. Like, of course they did. like but they were never allowed to directly say they played other games.
Yeah.
So there was this whole time period where they
Stigma.
had to pretend that they only played their game, and it
Yep.
was insanity. It was awful, like, because everybody knew, like, why would you not play other games? It would be stupid not to play other games.
Yeah,
So
you gotta
I'm
keep an
really
eye on
happy
your
we've
competition.
moved beyond that, and like now you see devs tweeting about playing other games or wanting to, and like thoughts about it. That's
I don't-
awful.
I don't play other games.
Yeah, well, you're a weirdo.
Well, no, we had this discussion, Aaron, before, where if I buy you enough gems, you're gonna play ESO and be my typer.
Maybe.
He is what?
It
No,
will
he's-
require a lot of bribing.
If you're ever on the Game Breaker Nation forums and Lumi ever types something, you'll realize he can't type, and that
Oh,
he was going to
typer.
hire Aaron as his typer.
You could use a
thought he
scribe.
said-
But I
Typer,
actually,
and I
that
was
spot
like,
has already
what?
been filled. I'm sorry.
See, Aaron, I won't hurt you like he did.
Okay. Good to know.
But I think the one interesting thing that came from that developer spotlight, I know I have to constantly reel it back, is she actually had a special team working in Living World Season 2 to improve in-game rewards. And it says from the article, granted, someone else is writing it, so we don't know if it's I don't think it was a direct quote in there, so it could just be them taking their interpretation. But they said, for example, armor sets are now exclusively designed as in-game rewards, while outfits are primarily gem store offerings.
Mm-hmm.
And we have very much seen that since Season 2. And, I mean, how do you guys feel that they're going to try to make armor sets? And the important part in there is sets, because we still had, like, what was it, the Shadow of the Dragon, like, helmet, shoulders, and I think, like, separate
Those-
pieces.
We like to pretend those don't exist.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, and I think they also had the scarf and stuff like that. So don't be surprised if there's these one-off items or separate items.
Just not full sets.
Now, granted, if they sell them and like kind of like they did with the Lawless, where they're like, here's the boots, here's the pants, here's the, then I'd be
There's
like, all right, this is just a way to circumvent what you just did. Like,
There's another set that we don't like to talk about.
don't you like the Longhorn helmet? Like,
Oh God. Please no.
but I mean, do you guys like that idea of the armor sets being exclusively designed as in-game rewards, while wording from it says outfits are primarily, so that's not ruling out putting them in-game, because we know we had one outfit, the Hex outfit from last Halloween.
In-game
Actual
outfit.
In-game outfit.
But that
so-
was before Season 2, when they kind of
Yes.
started this whole... Well, it was before the latter half of Season 2.
Question for clarification for my personal sake, since new. Armor sets, I'm guessing, are stuff that can actually buff your character. They're actual pieces of armor that are
Have
valuable to your
stats.
character. Yeah,
Yeah,
where the costumes are essentially just cosmetic stuff.
And costumes don't have individual pieces. It's all or
Yeah,
nothing.
like,
with
It-
the
it's
option
kind
hide
of-
health.
Look.
Yeah.
Since I've hopped into Elder Scrolls Online, it like I think you guys have the
Personal
costume
versus-
section where it literally
Yeah.
covers the whole thing. You can't change it out.
Yeah.
That's basically what outfits are here.
Then I would say I like the system because it's very similar to what I know ESO is trying to go for, where it's, and I think it's one of the things for any crown store or any gem store, whatever type of store, you shouldn't be able to buy like gear that can actually potentially be really good.
Mhm.
You should be basically cosmetic stuff, the stuff that like you put on, you go, hey, look at me, I look cool. Hey, it's again like we were talking earlier, shinies. It's
Yeah.
the different shinies that we want, and like if you want to get the cool gear, that should be some type of in-game stuff. Like I'd be for like a transmog system, so if you want your gear to look like something else, that's a nice thing. But not be able to buy gear and stuff. That's always been, it carries with a very bad stigma.
I don't mind the split. I still want to be able to divide up outfits into their pieces. I'm going to harp on that for a while.
At least, if anything, I just want them to give outfits more die channels by piece. If they don't give us at least piece by piece, give us die channels by piece. Like the 4 die channels is very restrictive.
Especially like when you're going and you're trying to figure out if this die channel actually does anything anywhere, and like you're turning your character and like, I don't know.
Could we like stop with the pointless dye channels too? That would be cool. I mean,
If there's a dye channel that doesn't do anything, just don't put the dye channel in.
or make it be something. Like divide it up a little more. Make
That's
it
an
do a
option
thing.
too.
But in chat, they are saying like the gem store does have a ton. Yeah, this is she took over during season 2, and
Yeah.
since season 2 we haven't had gem store armor sets.
Yeah.
Well, what Psycho in chat is saying, and I agree with, is that they release way more stuff on the gem store than way more outfits on the gem store than they do.
I feel like
armor
every
sets in
gem
the game.
store update, just about, it's not every, but pretty close to everyone has some kind of outfit thing in it.
And granted, like we were talking about this before the show, outfits are easier to make than armor sets because you don't have to differentiate piece by piece, and there's less dye channels and things like that. And there will always be more on the gem store, like outfits on the gem store, than armor sets in the real game as far as a release schedule goes. But they could ramp up the armor sets in game a little bit. Like we've gotten like the luminescent and the carapace, which are the same armor set, to be perfectly honest, and that's about it. And that's not exactly a good thing.
I mean, trust me, I would love to have it separate and to be the system. Like I was disappointed when they had the wardrobe system and they were like, outfits are basically all or nothing. It's like, no.
Yeah, you cried.
Yeah, I think
that was so heartless. Yeah, you cried, baby.
I remember it. You cried. It's all right.
That's for a lot of games where they have the costume system, and that's what I was talking about. Like for the transmog thing that World of Warcraft had, it's a really inventive system. SWTOR kind of has a similar model where you can pick different pieces and then you can upgrade. Like you can put the mods in there to upgrade your stuff for like anything, but it has to be the orange gear, which I kind of like that system as well because then you could pick up. And if you're doing that, you lose gold for it. But like even in ESO right now, we want to be able to. You guys I will give you a one update. You guys can dye your costumes. We can't. We're asking for it right now. They said it is coming eventually. We just don't have it yet.
It is coming when ArenaNet buys us and we become Guild Wars 2 too.
You oughta go.
But I mean, we do have a nice wardrobe system. It's just I think we all hope that it could. Yeah, it could be the outfit. No one really understood the outfits of we were like, wait, why can't they be? Because why can't they be part of that system? Because prior to that, they were separate pieces that went into originally what town clothes were.
Yeah.
And it was just literally the same slots. They were separated. Now the newer stuff, since they probably weren't designing for that, but we were like, why can't we do that? We were just like, I think their main reason was clipping, which I don't know. My stance for it is if you are mix and matching, that's the risk you take.
I think it's that, and honestly, I think it's because now it's easier for them to turn out more outfits.
Oh yeah, no. The reason they cut down on the number of pieces in an outfit is obviously to crank them out faster, and we've definitely seen an upswing in the amount of outfits since they made that change. So
yeah.
It's restrictive to fashionistas like myself.
You're a pretty princess there.
Nice.
It's like I would buy more outfits if they came piece by piece, because a lot of them I don't buy them because I'm like, well, I would never wear that full combination in a million years. But some of them I'm like, well, I might wear those shoulders, but can't do that.
Yeah, I think I had the same conversation when I think it was Anissa's outfit came out. I was like, I would love to take parts of that and use it, and I would have bought it in a heartbeat. I would have bought the whole outfit in a heartbeat if I could have mixed and matched it. But I really hesitated about it because I knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah, dude, ArenaNet, if you just piecemeal the outfits, shut up and take my money.
Oh, my money!
Just give me money. So, since I'm relatively new to the game, is there anything coming out soon in the Crown Store that maybe I should go and buy? Because I have some money to go and spend.
Chain whip
And,
sword.
you know, I was really going to do a segue there. I was just waiting for people to stop, but man, stole it.
Good job.
There
Ruby.
just so happens to be, but unfortunately it's called the Gem Store.
Crown Store?
My segue was, speaking of outfits.
I was going to literally do that, and I was waiting for people to finish their thoughts. I wasn't going to be like, Robin, that's enough. Speaking
Like,
of
hey, shut up. It's time to move on.
I mean, even though she was mean to me, saying I cried.
She's mean to
didn't
everyone,
cry.
though.
I was honest. There's a difference between mean and honest.
Well, I'm being honest, and I think the chain whip sword that's in the Gem Store now, pretty interesting.
It reminds me
I
of.
think it's
That's not it.
lackluster.
There we go. And if you don't know, it's the chain whip sword. You can see in the bottom right there the animation of it kind of basically doing a whipping motion. You can get it for 600 gems. Now, here's the caveat to it. It's only available for 7 days, and this was last Tuesday, so you have till this Tuesday, which right now live, Saturday, that's literally, 4 days? Basically 3 days, if depending on when you're seeing this. But go and pick it up if you want this.
I wanna know
What do you guys think
what
about it?
the odds that the person who came up with this, I want to know what the odds are that they watched Bleach and they liked Renji.
I was gonna say that kind of reminds me of Renji's sword.
Yeah.
Although
I think that's more likely, but because Bleach is relatively popular. But back in 2001, there was a little movie called Le Pacte des Loups, aka Brotherhood of the Wolf. It's a French movie,
Oh.
and
Brotherhood
the
of
bad
Wolves.
guy has a big two-handed bone chainsword, and that's what that made me think of.
Interesting.
Well, actually, the
Fun
first
stuff.
thought that came into when you mentioned this was someone making a montage of whip it good with this.
And yes,
I'm
Chad
sure
is
somebody
saying
will.
more than likely it will come back. I mean, they haven't said anything, but that's usually how the Gem Store works. They'll bring it
Yeah.
back in certain seasons or...
Limited time.
I
Yeah.
don't like it that much. It's underwhelming to me for a chain whip sword. That should be totally bonkers, and this is not.
Yeah. That's kind of my thought about it, is like, it's cool, but it's not that cool, and I really like my Mistforged sword, so I would just use that instead.
I'd be tempted for this if it was more of a red color, like in there, because then it'd look more intimidating instead of this kind of green glow.
Mhm.
Like I would like more of a red kind of like almost like the red that she has on her. I think that would be a cooler look.
Unfortunately, that's one thing people have been clamoring for, is to be able to dye weapons, but that's one thing that from Guild Wars 1 did not carry over, unfortunately. I think it would definitely be harder here.
Weapons in Guild Wars 1?
Yeah, you can dye weapons in Guild Wars 1.
Wow. Now I feel sad.
Speechless. Gonna go... She's like, I'm updating Guild Wars 1. That's what I'm-
Dyeing weapons in Guild Wars 1 was very hit and miss. It was super lackluster on most
Oh, yeah?
weapons.
Yeah,
There were
it's
a
not
few
as
that it would
great.
really stand out
Like,
on.
if you're thinking the armor dyeing in this game, in Guild, it's not that, no.
Like,
It
mainly what
basically
you did
changes
in
one aspect.
in Guild Wars 1, the only reason you dye a weapon is you dye it black for prestige. Otherwise, there's not really any point.
Okay. Alright.
But it basically dyed one color channel, usually, to basically put it in Guild Wars 2 wardrobe dyeing terms. I just made that official. There you go, Rena. You can use that scientifically. And I'm getting so many head shakes. But yeah, I'm kind of indifferent on the the chain whip sword. And I think a lot of people in chat are saying the same thing, is the animation doesn't really work very well on all the different profession skills.
Yeah.
And let alone, because I think even if you preview it, you see it looks like it's whipping back and forth if you're looking at it from the side. But if you're looking at it like with the weighted edge, it actually doesn't move. It's
See,
almost like one of those things where you're turning like, how is it doing
I was
that?
wondering if that's a glitch or if it's simply supposed to be only a north-south movement and not an east-west movement, and that's why you don't see it from behind.
Wait,
but-
it's a north-south movement?
That was just a direction example. I don't know what direction it actually
I was
goes.
gonna say, because if it just moves up and down, that seems stupid to me.
No, I mean if it's just supposed to wave forward and back and not side to side, then that could be a reason you'd only see the animation from one side, and like you should see it from both sides either way, but they could have just used that as an excuse to be conservative with their time making this, or it could just be a glitch.
Yeah, it very well could be. I mean, who knows? Yeah, that's the troubling question with beta and like, you know, the expansion looming. Who knows about this chain whip sword? That's the real burning question, and we're here to tell you about it. But something else that was in the gem store was the Mad Scientist outfit, and you can see it on a couple of the races, and that's just kind of showing the color channels. Like you can dye them any way you want, but
Actually, looks pretty good.
Yeah, that does.
yeah, you can get it for 700 gems, and they say there's a subtle animation to it, like you can see like the little vials on the coat and stuff. The liquid in them, yeah, the little test tube vials.
Okay.
Have like a liquid animation to them.
Oh, cool.
This outfit is easily my favorite outfit they've come out with on the gem store so far.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It looks, the graphical detail that's put into it on a minute scale is way higher than anything else they've come out with.
I agree with you on that point. I don't like the goggles.
Well, you can hide the helm on outfits, though. Yeah. So I never factor the helm into how much I like an outfit or not.
Yeah, I do that on a lot of my costumes in ESO, where it's like, I like the rest of it. Get rid of that.
Plus, I'm a big fan of big anime douchebag collars, and this is the big anime douchebag collars to end all big anime douchebag collars.
There's a lot of details in this. You're right about that. I really like that.
And the metal parts dye so well. Like, they shine. Oh, it's nice. This is definitely my favorite outfit.
I would say, I think we'll start with the easy one. Aaron, would you ever consider buying this for 700 gems?
I bought it already. Chet, go look at my Twitter.
Yeah, you actually had a photo there. Robin, would you pick up for 700?
I like the detail, but it's not one I would buy.
Lee, you said you had money burning in your pocket. Is that something that's gonna make you fork over the money for gems?
I'm going to put this analytically. A time to ratio game played for what to put into it. So since I'm only level 2 and I play, I'm sorry to say, yes I know, another game more. Sadly, I would like the costume, but not gonna buy it.
Actually, you just reminded me of one of the other things we forgot to mention about outfits that makes them awesome is, so like when you take the skin from armor and put it on armor, it costs you a charge. Outfits you can just put on with no extra charge, so it's really nice for leveling because you just enable a outfit and you have your look, and every time you get a new weapon you don't have to redo the skinning, which is awesome. So there's that.
For anybody that doesn't know, that I always recommend, if you have the money to spend, buy an outfit when you're leveling up, because a lot of people will buy like the heroic edition or whatever that comes with that like beginning armor, and it's like, oh, I want to maintain this throughout. It's like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Like,
welcome to transmutation charges.
But an outfit will allow that. So if you have an outfit that you see in the gem store that you like, definitely while you're leveling up, and maybe leveling up multiple characters, that's the better way to go, because it's all about how you look in Guild Wars 2. That's the important part.
It's all about the style. It's just how.
So, Psycho in chat. Oh. Yeah. So Psycho in chat says it looks like most medium armor, just with more gadgets, and it kind of does, but the detail is higher, and it looks like there was more dedication put into this armor set. Plus, like I said before, you can't get a collar like that on any other armor set in the entire game. So there's enough that sets it apart to me.
Look at it again, because I'm gonna find it and prove you wrong. I'm gonna find a collar.
So
there's some smaller ones, but there's none that are that pronounced. Not not by a long shot. I
It
looked.
looks like it varies on by character too, because
Yeah, I'm going by the
Azure. It looks kind of really small.
Yeah, I'm
compared
going
to the
definitely
head.
going by the humanoid model,
Yeah.
like the human Norn Silvari.
I mean, I like it. It's I agree with some people in chat, and I've seen on forums and whatnot saying it's kind of funny that everybody complains about the trench coats for medium armor, and what do they kind of give us? A trench coat for everyone to have. Like,
I don't know why people complain about that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Spoiler alert: trench coats are pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you want to wear a onesie or something? Go home.
yes, and where is that in the gem store?
Oh my gosh.
I think that would be amazing.
You would.
I like trench coats. They're cool.
Indeed.
You know what's also cool? Updates about beta, possible beta or expansion announcements.
Oh
It
yeah.
involves beta.
You want to try that again?
No, not at all.
We have to redo the entire podcast now.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Well,
one of
that's
those
what the
weekends
intro's good.
apparently. On the forums, about challenging content and hot, and people were questioning because I think it also stemmed from this week they took a break or last week they took a break and people were expecting some kind of announcement, and they got like a series of little things and stuff like that, and
Yeah. A lot of people were hoping for a release date.
I truly think this is going to be like our gaming lull before E3, kind of like all games go through. But
Yeah.
they're probably saving some things for E3 is my guess. But
Well,
My
on the
guess is
forums,
things will really ramp up after E3.
hopefully,
Hopefully, like they need to get on this.
yeah, because the hype train only has so much fuel before people just want to get off.
I'm never getting off. Not as long as Colin is at the helm.
But
Colin,
they
be my
talk
best
about
friend.
challenging content in Heart of Thorns, and just because I think Colin said replies in there that just because I'd have to look at the exact quote on it, but they actually say he actually mentions like when it's ready, they will announce the group or this challenging content that they've been promising for Heart of Thorns. Though then he says, though it isn't the challenging content feature discussed in our announcement, we do want to do more open world content stuff that's more challenging. And he said people have seen it in the closed beta experience with the AI, how it's a little more intelligent. And I think I made mention of it last a couple podcasts ago. And I like the AI. That is what sold me for Heart of Thorns. But the closed beta tests show, like, I think if you've gotten a chance to try it or have seen streams where you've seen like the vines knocking bombs out of people's hands, and I tried to reenact it, it was a lot tougher because there was a lot more mobs, it seemed like, this time.
Yeah.
But they still managed to do it, and I think that's even just a small taste of what they have in store. But people kind of took it as, since he's saying that they want to also do like just open world or challenging, that the challenging content is instanced or closed off, which that's one way to read it.
No, well, you're talking about the forum post that Colin commented on this week,
Yes.
right? Basically, what Colin said in that is that there will be open world content in Heart of Thorns will be more challenging than content in Tyria. However, that specifically is not what they were referring to in their expansion announcement when they said new challenging content. So basically, yes, Heart of Thorns open world content will be more challenging than the content we currently have. And yes, we will be getting extra challenging content as well in some sort of new capacity.
Yeah, I think a lot of people read it that way. Unfortunately, a lot of other people, the people that go on forums and are like the louder minority,
Reddit people.
and regular forum people, to be fair, like everybody jumped on the, well, he said it's not this, so it must be that, and
If it's not one thing, it must be whatever we think it is.
yeah, exactly.
People have a problem with not, like, I want to say not reading things closely enough, but like focusing on the wrong part of what somebody says.
Pulling things out of context.
Yeah.
So, like what we did with Aaron earlier, with him wanting to put Colin Johansson's head on the pike.
Well, he just said that badly.
Yeah, and that is why we did it, to show an example.
Yeah, head on a stick.
Head on a stick.
We only did that to show an example for this part right here.
Yes.
That was why we did it. So, see, the more you know.
You just know I'm going to run into Colin Johansson at PAX now. And he's going to be like...
No, you're going to run into his security, and they're going to escort you off the premise.
The first day of PAX East, I almost literally walked straight into him, and I wasn't trying to, and I was like, crap. Like, it was very weird. I was like, as long as he doesn't remember me tomorrow when I have an interview, that's fine.
Now, when you walked in, was he like, you?
No.
Oh.
He was like, you!
I wonder what he's going to do with Aaron. He's just going to be like, get off, get out.
He's going to turn and run.
No, he'll probably walk up to him and give him a stick and be like, here you go, fetch.
Yeah, take your shot. Like, it turns out Colin Johansson's a total badass.
He gives you the stick, he's like, just on.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't have the guts. But yeah, I think it's interesting that, I mean, once again, people are taking things out of context and clearly putting words that they want into people's mouths. Really nothing new there, but I just thought it would be interesting to hear your guys' thoughts on, would you want to see challenging content maybe be exclusively open world or instanced, or maybe a mix of both, right? And what kind of things would you want to see in both?
No locking it to an exclusive thing. Put it everywhere, please. Thank you.
Challenging content can be either one, but what you get with one is not going to be the same as the other. Like, the way things are going to be challenging in the instance can't, and by necessity won't be the same as they would be challenging in the open world.
Yeah, because, like, for one thing, like, if you have an instance, you almost always have, like, a set number of people that can go into there for different things, where if it's an open world, like a world boss, there can be any number of people, and like we were talking about earlier with the dynamic events, is the scaling system. Like, how do you set up a scaling system that can counter and effectively realize how many people are there and actually adjust the encounter for that? It's really complex.
Yeah, and it seems like chat's either saying a mix or, prefer like the focus of an open world, which, yeah, I like the open world thing because it reminds me of like kind of like EverQuest, where like, I like when people define raids and they're like, it has to be instance off. I'm like, EverQuest, you could literally run in there and another guild could run in right behind you and take out the,
Well, and like when you say that, like in Sherdil in chat says, I want it to be, in the open world. The open world's a lot more limited in what they can do with encounters. So I'd rather see it a mix of both, because then we can get the really cool in-depth encounters with a ton of different mechanics and stuff in an instance.
There's also like the issue of open world. You have just a bunch of people who generally don't know each other and don't have any coordination to work together on something.
One thing I was going to suggest was, I mean, with the new living story with the journal and stuff, we have that ability to replay those things. If they're going to do a story in the expansion, will we be able to replay it? And personally, I kind of like how they've done the personal or the living world story, where you can go through it, get the story, I'd like to see more things that gear towards like maybe taking 5 of your friends in and doing the hard mode of what was it, the Shadow of the Dragon, or some of the other fights in there, where it kind of makes it a dungeon boss or something, so it kind of creates that more challenging content. I mean, would you guys like to see something like that, or?
I think they're going to. I think it likely will be because like they're continuing the living story with the expansion story. So I don't see any reason why they would set that up differently.
Yeah, and keeping going with what chat's going on about, Internet, please put more fractals in. We're getting real sick of what we have.
I still like it, but yeah, I would like new ones. Every
Like,
time they add
please.
new ones, I'm like, yay!
Yeah, so
Which
I'd
was
to
like-
some new ones as well. The ones I've been doing just it's like I feel like I'm doing the same one over and over.
I think we should have a lower third for Lee just saying he's level 2.
It's the character. It's the character creation instance. He's sick of it by now. But like,
I'd like to invite
I
my
mean,
friends to be like, hey, what do you think of this hair?
I mean, since Fractal launch, they've added a set of new fractals one time, pretty much.
And it was
So-
basically because people really liked the little instance dungeons they did as part of the story, but those went away, and people were like, but those were fun. Like, we still want to do that, you know? And they were
Yeah, it's like-
"Hey, we can do that."
It's like our little group here really likes doing fractals, but the majority of the game doesn't do fractals enough to warrant them putting a lot of work into new
Can you close my
fractals,
door,
which is
please?
really
Thank you.
disheartening. But at the same time, since they're adding a fractal mastery line, I'd say it's almost guaranteed that there's going to be new fractals with Heart of Thorns.
Yeah, I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
New end
I
bosses,
totally
too.
agree.
Oh my
I
gosh.
definitely want to see more fractals, especially if they're putting a mastery system in.
I am so sick of Dredge and Char Guy fractal boss. Like, every time I see them, I'm like, oh, you guys.
I don't know, that's sometimes a sigh of relief. It's like, I don't want to do Jade Maw. Please no.
Oh, I don't mind Jade Maw. Like, you
I
can do
hate
that
Jade
with your
Maw.
eyes closed. Really?
Yeah,
That's
I can't
so
stand
easy.
Jade Maw. It's
I mean,
just
it's kind
that
of boring, but
it's
I
limited.
think that's what does it for me. It's kind of boring.
The encounter, to me, the mechanic in the Jade Maw encounter is limiting. That's why I
Yes.
don't like it, because the encounter is limited by the mechanic. I don't think the mechanic should restrict. I think they should embellish. I don't know.
I was gonna say all mechanics kind of restrict though, because that's the whole point of the mechanic. Like, if
I
you
find-
do something, then something else will happen, and if you don't do something, then
You're
you
gonna
know.
die.
I find the mechanic in Jade Maw too blunt and too restrictive. Like, it's not complex enough.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll make it so that you hop on one foot while spinning around in a circle doing the hokey pokey.
That would. I'd be in. I'm in. Let's do that. That would make Jade Maw fun.
I mean, to be
New-
fair,
new boss fractal, the dance off.
the one you were talking about, the
I just got the best idea for a fractal boss.
oh, okay. I thought for a second you said something or that was like, I don't know, like
I just had
Abaddon,
the greatest
Abaddon
idea.
dance off.
No, Mad King. He does the little, Mad King says thing. You could turn that into a dance thing. It'd be awesome.
honestly, the dungeon had that they had in Halloween.
Man, that first year dungeon, I wish they would bring that back in a fractal because that was fun. It was crazy.
I totally agree with you. I'd love that in a fractal. So that could be replayable, especially because I tell that to people and they're like, that sounds really awesome. Like, yeah, they might bring it back one time. They haven't yet, but they're due.
Yeah.
Possibly.
There's always hope.
Yeah. It's, please make that a fractal.
Now we find out that they just trashed all of that code.
They're like, yeah, we got rid of that. You're like,
They're like, oh yeah, let's put some of the old dungeons in the like fractal. They're like, like the season 1 stuff. Oh, maybe that Halloween one that we did. And they're like, oh, you mean that code that I put in the trash bin? Wait, what? No, I didn't. I'll go check it right now.
Let's be honest. They keep tabs on our show just to know what not to do to ruin their game.
Man, if they ever said that, they're like, oh, we don't have the stuff, it would be a total, no, it's not possible moment.
It's never gonna happen. Sorry. But sadly, we are running out of time for today. What? Do you have something to say?
He's
Did
muted.
you mute yourself?
Yeah, he did.
Can't hear you, Aaron.
Yeah, it shows he has no mic right now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. ArenaNet got
It's
to
not
him.
me. It's not
ArenaNet
me.
got to him.
It was all about Colin and the head on the stick. He's-
He can't even hear us. Well,
Oh.
he can't
Well,
even-
we should go ahead.
yeah, we're
and
wrapping
wrap
up because it is time. And let's say, Lee, where can you be found on the internet?
You can find me on the Twitters at LumiLock, on Twitch at LumiLock, or I think, yeah, in game here for both Guild Wars 2 and ESO at LumiLock.
That's pretty hard to follow.
I know.
Don't you do like a podcast or something?
Yes, I do. I guess. I do ESO Tesso Nation podcast every Sunday at 9 p.m. EST. Yes, 9 p.m. EST. Wow, I'm good at this. And apparently Aaron's gone. He said the client crashed.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
All right.
Oh.
Well, I think I know his stuff by now. I can. Oh, see, there he used to be. All right. And Robin, where can you be found?
On Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82. I write for GameBreaker.tv. I also have a blog called MMOArlie.com, and most games as Arlie.
And should I have the empty box? You could find Aaron.
Yay.
Apparently not on the podcast at the very end, but at Guild Wars Monk on Twitter. He writes for Guild Mag. Definitely check it out there. You can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch, Twitter, not so much YouTube. I post little bits there, but focus on the other two. You can find all of us here at GameBreakerNation.com. We're not just the Guild Wars 2 guild. As you can see, we have Elder Scrolls Online, which is it's in one of the directions, but since it's full screen, you won't be able to tell anyway. We have Final Fantasy XIV. They're coming out with the expansion, I think, literally counting down the days now. Like, I think it's less than a month. World of Warcraft. Honestly, we just keep growing with gamers like you. So if there's a game that we're not covering, head on out, sign up at GameBreakerNation.com. We can form groups in your favorite games, and have a good group to play with, and probably lose in PvP if I'm there. So as always, we will see you in. Good night, everybody.